Syria, from periphery to core. For decades, Syria has been a state that was overtly stable and politically stagnant. Correspondents like myself would transit the country en route to the wars in neighboring Iraq and Lebanon. Fascinating as it appeared, for journalists primarily interested in covering conflict, quiescent Syria was less a place to be reported on than passed through. While aligning itself with the clerical regime in Iran and Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah's Hezbollah in South Lebanon, Syria was puzzling as an officially secular Arab nationalist regime. The stability insulating Syria that we as journalists had become accustomed to was simply an illusion, a vestige of the post-colonial Middle East order whose time had now come and gone. Underneath the Assad's ham-fisted autocracy lay a fragile human mosaic, ready to explode. In the months after the Syrian Revolution erupted in March 2011, meandering debates questioned whether the nation was in fact in a state of civil war. Such questions are moot now. Syria is in a state of armed conflict from Jordan to Turkey and from the Mediterranean to the Iraqi frontier. The members of the Free Syrian Army I encountered in the cold hills of Idlib, hunkered down along the Turkish border, told me that they had begun as peaceful protesters and that it was the regime's brutal response to their efforts that led them to eventually take up arms. While these sentinels engaged in daily skirmishes with regular Syrian army troops bivouacked across this small hamlet, their main goal was to create a safe passage for regime defectors and refugees risking all to flee to Turkey. The key points the fighters stressed to me were that their strategy was a de facto war of attrition, and that the eventual downfall of the Assad regime lay not in the collapse of Damascus, but in the then coming militarization of the conflict in urban Aleppo, the country's population and commercial capital.